bumps are the obstacles. They are not in the way, they are the way. To get in on the action, go to dream-analysis.com, fill in the form and submit your dream to the show. That's it. That's all you have to do. So, like I said, we're going to cover dreams with animals, and that was prompted by a dream, one of the dreams that or questions that I got in today. But sometimes it's easy to tell what an animal means right off the bat, but other times you need to look at the location. For instance, a giraffe tells you that you're a guide. You don't need a location. A giraffe is taller than everyone else. Can't imagine another animal that you're going to have in the dream that's land-based that's going to be taller than a giraffe. So it says that that's your elevation, or that's your position. So tall people in dreams are quite often guides. An elephant says that you have a sensitivity, but you pretend to have a thick skin, but you're actually really sensitive, and things upset you, but people would not know that about you because of the way you pretend to have a thick skin. An eagle, for instance, says that you have an ability to see the future. They fly so high that the mythology is that from their high vantage point, they can see the past, present, and future. So if you have that in your dream, that's what it means for you. For others, we do need a location. A cat, for instance, can indicate the stomach if it is in the kitchen, or if it's scratching wallpaper, or it's in another place that has to do with the digestive and elimination system. But it's the location that tells it it to us. It can also be about guilt. Well, why? Because the cat o' nine tails is used to purge sailors of their sins, or at least was. I think they've probably stopped that now. And usually in these dreams, the dreamer mentions they have a cat with them. They don't mention it, but the implication is that they carry it or it follows them, which is what guilt does. A cat chasing and killing mice would be about the immune system at work, killing cancer cells. Where the cat is, for example, in the hallway in a dream, in the one in question I'm thinking of, tells us that it is cervical cancer. But again, because the cat is killing the mouse, it means that there isn't an issue. The immune system is working. So I suppose I'll just do dogs as well. But you see the point of how we need to have the location along with the animal. Dogs always need a location. A dog drowning at a pier means that you had a difficult start to life, because the pier is going to represent the start of your journey. A dog returning home, usually in a dream it's a childhood dog, is about you getting back your natural instincts. It's a very, very good sign in a dream. Normally you'd get that type of dream if you're contemplating therapy or you're doing a therapy. Or you could have 3 white dogs in the kitchen like one dreamer had, and that's about the need to give up dairy because it affects their digestive system. And again, it's the location that tells us, and then the color of the dog tells us it's about dairy. Anyway, let's have a look at some of your dreams now to make sense of that. This one's called Attack of the Owl, and it's from Angelica. She says, on a sunny day, I'm taking a walk with my 2 small, very old dogs in a rural area next to a large and curved road. So a rural area is probably going to be like a dirt or gravel path. We're walking through the grass and then walk through some tall stalks. And my little boy dog, Sabre, asks me what they are. And I answer that they are cornfields where corn comes from. So the dog, again, it's not the fact that it's a dog that's significant here, it's the fact that it can talk. And so this talking dog means that Angelica has the ability to channel, to communicate with spirits. She has a special communication ability. But where it is then in the cornfields, that's really important. And cue the ominous music here. All of a sudden, I see an owl and a hawk descending towards us. I know they are after my 2 small 15-pound dogs, so I shall pull tightly at their leashes and try to gather them up as closely to me as I can. I then try to make myself big by lifting one arm and screeching loudly, hoping to scare the birds away. However, this just makes the giant owl mad and gives him the opportunity to grab Sabre easily. He does this with his talons. I grab Sabre back, pulling so hard I know he's going to get hurt, but I can't let the owl fly off with him. I get him back and hold them both close to me, but there are 2 of them and it is hard to protect both of my babies. Though they are close, they are still easily accessed by the owl, who is the main aggressor. The owl is pulling them back and I can tell he's not going to let go. He does release him for a moment, but I know it is only going to be a matter of time before he claims them both. Okay, so the birds of prey aren't really a good sign at all in the dream. And this is really a warning. After, I don't say because I've cut pieces out of this. But she turns to God in the dream. But here, it's the location of the cornfield tells us that her digestive system, because remember, she's going to be walking on a dirt track. She says at one point she's walking through a grass field. So really, it's going to be earth under her feet at this point, or a point in the dream. Then into the cornfields. And that's going to be saying that corn is really bad for this dreamer. She needs to stop eating whatever foods she currently eats that have corn in them, because it's just like the Birds of Prey show. It's really dangerous for her, and it would eventually take her out. Like I said, she turns to God in the dream, and it kind of gets resolved then. But why do things go wrong in our lives? And the reason is because that's quite often the only time we ask questions about what's up. When everything's going great, we rarely turn to the heavens and say, why is everything going good? What do I need to do now? It's only when things go wrong, we actually ask the question, and then we grow, because it's all about growth. That's why we're here in the first place. So in this dream, the birds of prey are the threat to the body, and the dogs are the dreamer's body. That's basically it. Any other notes? No, I don't. So this one is from Nasita, and it is this email that prompted today's theme. So thank you to Nasita. She says, "Hi, Michael. I'm on a spiritual quest. I have had many jobs and careers, and I've been told in my astrology that I am a healer, possibly herbal and mineral healer. I will be able to see someone and know how to cure them quickly. I ceased my medical job because I felt went against what I believed to be what medicine is about. I felt I was forced to give them poisons, not medicine. I just want to hone in on my gifts. I don't think I am very confident about them, and I can't seem to get it together. I've had dreams about eagles." Well, we've had an eagle already, so eagles say that you have the ability to tell the future. Now, that's going to link in with some of your other gifts. And it's one of those gifts that's automatic. Anybody who's got this gift, they don't have to figure out how to use it. It just kicks in and it tells them at times when it's appropriate what the future is going to be if they take a particular path, or if somebody that they're working with takes a particular path. So they're great for being able to say, don't take that job, or don't take this course of treatment because it's not going to work for you, even though it normally works. Here's what you need to do. Anyway, she has dreams and opening the door to 2 black panthers. And it was the Black Panthers that started our conversation together. And the 2 black panthers says that she has the ability to channel, but she has fears about it. And she's waiting. She says, opening a door to 2 black panthers waiting for me outside. It was a beautiful sunny day. One was pregnant, but I got worried and closed the door. Now I'm worried I closed that opportunity. So the sunny day is about healing. So she does have a healing gift. And the previous dreamer, she said it was a sunny day in the cornfield. And that's why that dream was there. It was about healing the fact that she's eaten foods that are bad for her. And the sun was the healing device in that dream. Anyway, forgot to mention it there. But so here, Nasita is worried that she's closed the door on her gifts. And the answer is no, you can't. So don't worry about that. It's just saying that what you're doing now is closing the door. So realize what you're doing that's wrong, fix it, and everything will be okay. She says, I feel lost, and I'm sure my dreams keep trying to help me, but I don't know how to put it into practice. Well, you've written to the right show. I would love to do your course one day, but unfortunately, I cannot afford it yet. Well, it's the price of inaction that you need to consider. That's where the real cost is. What age are you? I actually know that, but I'm not going to give it away to the listeners. How long have you felt lost? Decades? How long did you stay in your medical career even while you knew it was not your path? That is the price you're currently paying, and will continue to pay until the day you decide it's too much. Every day of inaction is you purchasing more of that lost feeling. And yes, you're right. Your dreams do keep trying to help you, and I will too, because I'm now going to interpret more of your symbols. You said, I've been in a library where a beautiful black lady came up to me and told me I had a star name and had to go and find out, but I woke up. Recently, I had a dream about being pregnant, and that's when I found your YouTube videos, and you made so much sense. Thank you. Well, so let's go back to these little bits of a dream. The beautiful black lady, the panthers are going to be black as well. So she's going to represent the same as them, your channeling ability. And you said that she came up and told me she had a star name. Oh yeah, there's another little bit of a dream I have later, which we will get to. You say that recently I had a dream about being pregnant. You also said one of the panthers was pregnant. Now, being pregnant is really good in a dream, and it means that you're heading to a stage that whatever effort it's going to take for you to bring something into the physical world do it because it's really going to pay dividends. And that's what pregnancy is typically about. It's a massive endorsement for something, for a new aspect of you that's going to be born that is always positive. Anyway, you're saying you're sure these are all clues. So the more I learn from you, the path will get clearer. And that's true, of course. So let's have a look at one of your little dreams. You say, a black panther came walking towards me out of the darkness. So the fact that it's in darkness means that you don't really know where your gifts are coming from or what it is you need to do in your life. But it's coming towards you, so this is something you need to do. It's in front of you in the dream. She was huge and I wasn't scared, so that means that you kind of are. If I was to say to you, hey, you're a channel, you need to work on channeling, you probably would say, yeah, that one does scare me a bit. As she came nearer, my partner popped up in my dream telling me to say a certain mantra, so I did. And that's going to be a personal thing. She moved behind me and turned into this beautiful black woman. So remember the black woman earlier and the panthers earlier. So now we know that the two are the same thing. With very colourful clothing. She started talking to me and telling me things while brushing my long hair. The only thing I can recall at the end was that she told me I would die at age 27 or 87, 27. Yeah. So she started talking to me and telling me things. So this is about and she's brushing your long hair while doing it. So this is saying that your guides and your channeling ability is going to work by your gifts, putting thoughts into your head. And hair represents thoughts. So it's your guides working with your thoughts and giving you the information. And it's up to you to figure out how to tell when your guides are actually doing that, when they're giving you that type of information, so that you can discern your thoughts from the thoughts they place in. But that's basically your big gift. You do have other things. And also she tells you something about the future, and that fits in with the eagle that you had earlier. So we see a lot of it in just one sentence where you say, she started to talk to me and telling me things while brushing my long hair. So anyway, since you talk about price, I will be running a mini course in 3 weeks where I tell you what your spiritual gifts are from your dreams. The price for that course is just $97. Yeah, I know, hard to believe. If you want more details, email me. I ran this course once before and it was so much fun, I decided to do it again. So price cannot be an obstacle for just $97. So here's another dream, and I said I'd cover a lot today, so if it sounds like I'm going quickly, it's because I am. This one's from Rachel. She says, I was sitting in my car with my windows rolled down and a swarm of all sorts of animals were flying around me. I could only make out different bird species like eagles and other species, as well as fish swarming around me, coming in through my window and out the other side in a continuous loop. I had a concern for the 2 fancy goldfish, and I collected them out of the air with my hands and placed them into my water bottle. Okay, so the eagle we've already covered. You have the ability to see the future. And then the goldfish represent your ability to do hands-on healing. And even if you didn't mention goldfish in the dream, the fact that you say you pulled something out of the air with your hands, out of thin air, no, just the air with my hands. So the emphasis on the hands is enough to tell us that you've got this. You also talk about windows, so we know you're a psychic, but let's ignore that for now. We're focusing on the animals. So goldfish tell us that you're a healer because of the color gold, the color of the sun. It gives life to this planet, to our solar system. Without it, we wouldn't be here at all. And so healers are able to channel that life-giving force through their body and into their clients. And so that color then represents that. But also, because it's a fish, it lives in the water, and that says it's a spiritual thing. Anything to do with water that's not polluted is about spirituality. So putting the two together just makes it a very strong symbol for healing. And the water bottle tells us this will help heal your kidneys. Now, if you write and tell me, but Michael, I do not have kidney trouble, I will tell you the non-physical symptoms for kidney problems are sadness and depression. So write and tell me if you have that or had that, because this dream is saying getting into using your hands-on healing ability and your prophetic ability is going to help heal that. So another dream, I'm going to put this one to the side. This one's from Madeline. She says, Charlie Sheen was at the Cardinals baseball team tryout. He is trying out as a pitcher. He was hot and sweaty. His bat boy was also carrying around his dog. The announcer said he would believe it when he sees it. Okay, well, everything in a dream is you. So when the announcer says at the end he'd believe it when he sees it, It means there's something about yourself that you do not believe. The announcer is a guide in a dream. A disembodied voice in a dream is always a guide. So Charlie Sheen, he's an actor, and that means that you have a channeling ability. Actors don't say their own lines; they're told what to say, just like channels. They're told what to pass on to their clients. But the cardinal and the dog, they're the two animals in the dream. Cardinals are a bird, and in dreams they represent spiritual leadership ability. Think of cardinals in the Vatican. And so quite an elevated spiritual position. The only place above a cardinal is the Pope. So so it's showing your position, which is significant. And then, so why the dog? Well, if we just look at the other pieces first, you say Charlie Sheen was hot and sweaty. So this is you saying, even just describing it that way, looking at it in advance, I don't expect this to work. So I don't expect that I'm going to be able to channel or be a spiritual leader. We know that because you're looking at Charlie Sheen saying, yeah, he's trying out, but he's hot and sweaty. And for you, it's the body. So carrying around the dog represents your body, and you say that the body is restrictive. But really, that's what you got to work on. Your pain point is having to accept that you need to do this in your body, whereas you're probably thinking, why couldn't I just do this on the spirit plane? And the answer is because you do. You have to do it here. None of us would need to be playing real life Jumanji if it was easier to do it in the spirit world. So you're here for that reason, to figure it out. And also, and I've alluded to this because of the reference to cardinals, you are a guide. So you are here this time around to figure out how to do it, how to integrate aspects of you, especially spiritual aspects, while in the body, because that's what you're going to be getting your spiritual charges to do when you are on the spirit plane next time around. So there we go. That's Madeline's. Put this one to the side as well. Here's a funny little dream. This one is from Annie. She says, I'm at an outdoor event with two friends. It reminds me of the garden parties we had at our church when I was young. So we know with the reference to church, this is about something that's spiritual. Whether you're a churchy person or not, that's what we know churches are associated with. Anyway, lots of little booths with games and such. At the front of where the church is, there are some trees, small really. I stand a head above the tops of them. In one of these trees, I see something. It is a bird chick, but very large. There is no nest. I pick it up. I think it's a hawk chick. It crawls up into my hair at the top of my head and settles in. Wings splayed over my ears, legs hanging down the back of my head. It's cute and fluffy, but as I said, quite large. I begin to search for a solution to my chick problem. It's not a problem. Where I can put it. Where does it belong? I walk around for much of the day with the chick on my head. It's the right thing for you to do in this dream. I take it down at one point and look closely at it. It is actually a great horned owl chick. I decided I must put it back in the tree for its mother to find. Wrong thing to do. This dream felt really special. I'm not sure why. Okay, so you're psychic. We know that from previous dreams you've sent in when the show was running before. And you're also clairaudient. And we get that in this dream because the hawk chick is sitting on top of your head where the crown chakra is. And its wings and legs are splayed over you, and you say splayed over your ears. So we know you're clairaudient, and I've dug out another dream that you've sent in where you were talking about making earrings with crucifixes on them. So we have the church reference and references to the ears in your dreams from the past. So you're clairaudient. That's where you can hear your guides. And the feeling you had in the dream, like at the top of your head, including sometimes just the feeling of the legs of the bird, is the feeling you're going to get when you hear your guides in reality. So that's the clue in the dream, saying, okay, when you get this sensation, funny sensation on your ears or the back of your neck, that's when to listen to the what's going through your head. So sometimes we hear it in our own voice in our heads. Some people don't. Some people hear very, very clearly. So it's good to know what the marker is that says, hey, this is what's going to tell me that it's my guide speaking. And what you have to do is overcome religious upbringing. And we know that from the fact that you're at the church in the dream and in the next other dreams that you've sent in. And you have to heal issues with mom. And we know that because you put the chick back. So it's like, I give up my spiritual ability and I give it to my mom. So in other words, deal with your mom and you get your spiritual ability back. So here's Here's one from Raquel, and she says, hello, first of all, I'd like to congratulate you for your work and for the podcast, which I think is very interesting. Well, thank you for that. I'm looking for the start of the dream. Okay, here we go. The dream starts in a bus that seems to be going towards the beach. Inside, there's a girl I met a few years ago and with whom I have no contact nowadays, and I realize that she is dressed as a priest. Okay, so we know spiritual leadership is a thing here because we have the priest, but also we know going towards the beach is about your philosophy of life, spiritual approach. That's what the same thing. That's what this dream is about, your spiritual approach. So we expect it to tell you what your spiritual gifts are. So when we see the priest, we know that's one of your gifts. And what else have we got then? You say that there's a girl that you don't have much contact with nowadays. So if we know this is about the start of life and you're not having contact with a girl, you've got to heal issues around your mom in order to bring in your female side, make the contact back with your female side. Anyway, she's dressed as a priest. I'll give you a little bit more on that in a bit. With a tunic and a scarf covering her head, as a Muslim perhaps. We don't talk to each other. Again, this is not communicating, not sharing, so big issue here. As she is sort of preaching to the other passengers inside the bus, I just look at the scene and feel intrigued and surprised by her new role. So this would be a surprise to you too. Then we are at the beach. There's a woman by the sea holding very small babies. So this is you as a baby, surely premature newborns. And remember that, premature. And at some point she starts driving in the ocean with them in her arms. Diving in the ocean, that is. As she dives, the babies get lost in the waves, and I desperately try to get to them. So this tells us for sure that you had a very difficult start to life and nearly didn't make it. I managed to save them in her arm. I skipped a bit. At one point she starts diving into the ocean, but as she dives, the babies get lost in the waves, and I desperately tried to get to them. I managed to save one and take him back to the ground where I performed CPR on his little chest. So the heart here is the thing, which is what all the issues are going to be about. There's someone with me helping me out, but I'm not sure who it is. Just feels like a familiar person. Well, that's good. That's the help you're getting spiritually. Then when I realize the baby is safe, I get near the ocean again and see a huge and colourful snake rising from the sea. See, I knew there'd be an animal in this. The snake starts chasing me and I start to run, very scared. It's curious that no one else seems to be bothered by the animal. As I run, I enter a small village that is totally empty. Well, at least I don't see anyone on the streets, and I continue running and running. At some point, I'm not even sure that the snake is still chasing me, but just in case, I keep on running. So this dream tells us that you're a counsellor, because we have the desertion, which I say is one of the key features for people who are counsellors. You have a very difficult start to life. You didn't have a good bond with mom right at the start. And that's because, well, we'll get that, because I wrote to her this morning and she kindly wrote back. But counsellors, they feel like they're looking at life from the outside. And so I asked you about that. You're also a spiritual leader because of the priest reference. Now that's coming. That's not something that you've got right now. So when I wrote to you, here's what Raquel wrote back. She said, with the question, what was your start to life like? She said, because I said this dream shows trauma, she said, well, yes, my mother had many problems during pregnancy. She had to stay 2 months in the hospital, and I was born premature at 8 months. Well, I always say everything in the dream is you, so it's obvious there. But so it's that difficult start to life that caused you the poor bond, not, your mom saying, hey, I don't like you, don't love you, etc. But your mom not being able to be present for you and give you the love and attention that you needed because of what she was going through. And we're in the body from about 5 to 6 months. So it's before birth that these things sometimes happen. This is how you brought your spiritual abilities with you, that very difficult, traumatic start. And I say that because you said, I always have a good relationship with my mom and so on, except during teenage years. So it's really about the start. And it's good that you have the relationship now and had it in childhood, but you still need to heal this trauma from the beginning. And then I asked, do you feel like you go through life looking at it from the outside and not really a part of it? You said, my God, yes, that's a huge part of me. I don't feel like that all of the time, but I struggle with that feeling quite a lot, as if I'm somewhere behind myself, not really part of what's happening around me or to me. It's very weird, but I'm getting used to it somehow. Okay, so you're getting used to it. You're very young. You're late 20s. So this is the perfect time for you to wake up. We get 2 opportunities, coming up to 30 and coming up to 60. So get on track now, and you're going to really short circuit a lot. You're going to deal with all the big issues that you need to, and it is easy to do. There are tried and trusted methods for this. It is not, regardless of what you think and how it's not affecting you, there are easy ways to fix this and really get in touch with what it is. So very good for you. The counselor is what the snake represents, by the way, in case I didn't say, because you say it's huge and colorful. And usually these, I often say snakes are bad, but those snakes are usually very translucent, horrible looking, very wormy looking. But you say this is a colorful and big one, and it comes up out of the sea. So we know it's a spiritual ability, and you've got that. But you need to stop running away from it. So it's not something that you've embraced, neither is the spiritual leadership, but you will. Next one, looking at the time, we've got time for a few more. I dream that I'm back in my primary school. There is a young sick elephant at the school. It is rare and it is a rare and endangered species. I'm trying to nurture the elephant back to health. I'm hugging it and holding it. The elephant is using his trunk to play with me. We seem to have a very strong bond. Okay, and she called it sick elephant. So I mentioned elephants at the start. This one is from Rose. So this says that you're a very sensitive person, but nobody knows this. Like I said before, you put on this outward show that everything's fine. But when you let that down is when you are sick. And it's almost like you would enjoy being sick because it brings people close to you without you having to show that you're really, really actually secretly very happy to have that company. So now I'm going to look for shorter ones because we are out of time. In fact, I'm going to skip them and I'm just going to move to the end and say that's my show for this week. If you want me to analyze your dreams, go to dream-analysis.com and fill in the form. As I said earlier, I'm running a mini course in 3 weeks. If you want details on that, get on my list and you'll be the first to know. Details will also be posted on my site and I will say more closer to the date. Until next week, I'm Michael Sheridan.